All right. And we're back here on Couch Coach Live, continuing our 11th annual Couch Coach Live NFL preview. What's going on, Maui?
What's going on, man?
Not much, man. Obviously, if you're watching us live here on Thursday, August the 1st, we got football has officially began. We got the Hall of Fame game. I'm actually watching the background. So if you see me kind of move my head a little bit to the left, uh, pardon me. But it is what it is. So football is back in the air. It is an exciting time. We knew this day was coming, August the 1st. It's the beginning of it all. It's been a long, almost 6-month journey without football, but it's back. We're back at full stream. Obviously, Hall of Fame game tonight, and then next week will be a full slate of preseason games and stuff. So it's going to be from here. It's up between now and February. So we're going to pretty much have football on for the next, for the foreseeable future. So definitely excited for that to come back into the fray, and So as I mentioned earlier, we'll continue our NFL previews as we will be discussing the NFC West, where we talk about the San Francisco 49ers, the Los Angeles Rams, Arizona Cardinals, and the Seattle Seahawks. So we'll talk about that tonight. And our 11th annual Couch Coach Live NFL preview is powered by SeatGeek. Head over to SeatGeek.com. Use the promo code CouchCoach. You can get $20 off your first purchase by using our promo code CouchCoach. So we'll talk about so pretty much it's like if you watched our AFC West preview, it'll be the same thing where we'll have a single question essentially for each team, and we'll kind of talk about we'll answer the question, then we'll also kind of go into detail about it as well. So first, we got to talk about the defending NFC champion San Francisco 49ers. We'll talk about them, and they'll lead off our preview. So essentially, will the 49ers rebound after falling short last year? And obviously, we know that the San Francisco 49ers fell short in overtime in the Super Bowl last year. So, Mal, what's your thoughts to this question? Will the 49ers rebound after falling short last year?
I put kind of. I think they're going to be consistent of what they've been in the last 5 years. As long as they stay healthy. 4 NFC championships in the last 5 years. 90%, 95% of the team is coming back. They lost two Super Bowls to the Chiefs. The quarterback was Jimmy G. He's not there anymore. Brock Purdy just got him there. Guys coming from injuries. Humfuga, did I mess his name up? Humfuga, but Rick Purcell, Leonard. They got Leonard Floyd, and the new defensive coordinator. I don't know. I think they just gonna stay consistent and based upon. One thing about the 49ers that kind of bothered me is why they, they paid McCaffrey. Was it even time for him to be paid or get an extension?
Well, he got an extension. I mean, they could have, but I guess they were in the market. Yeah, they did what they had to do.
Right. And then you got Samuels, you got Debo, maybe want to get paid. I'm hearing Brock Purdy won his extension. And I think that's a question mark of if they're going to do that or not. I would try to lock that in, or maybe I'm just tripping. So I think they will. I'm gonna say yes because based upon their division, even though I feel like their division has gotten better, a lot of people aren't injured anymore, so anything can happen. But I'm gonna say yes. I mean, this new defensive coordinator. Hopefully he can give him over the hump.
Yeah. I think when I look at the San Francisco 49ers, I definitely think they'll be in the mix. I don't know. I think the gap between the second best player, the best team in the NFC versus San Francisco has shortened. I think when we looked at it from last year, hey, they were pretty much at this point, this time last year, we was like, okay, they had shoulders better than any team in NFC. Obviously, there has been some teams that kind of have gained ground. I think
Right.
offensively, with Brock Purdy, obviously, pretty much a tremendous, almost like kind of scot-free type of record. I mean, he's almost a 78% winning percentage. Pretty much, he has a 48-14 touchdown to interception ratio, which is tremendous. So you look at that. Obviously you got C-Mac. He doing his thing. Obviously, he led the league in rushing last year, offensive player of the year. The wide receiver trio, I'll put that way, or however you want to suit it.
Right.
You look at Brandon Ayuk, which you think probably more likely will be his final year there. Then you think about as far as uncertainty with Debo's
Right.
health, and then I think very questionable move of them drafting Ricky Purcell. He's I think what is he like
Mhm.
6'1", almost kind of like in that realm of like almost like a slot, almost like kind of I would look at like a Debo type replacement where I think that's
Right.
going to be position how they
Right.
and I think the
Right.
thing about that situation. And then also you still have like Brandon Jennings, who I think in a weird way, was it Brandon? No, Brandon Jenkins. Pardon me, Brandon Jenkins, who I think
Mhm.
in theory, if San Francisco would have won that Super Bowl, he would have been the Super Bowl MVP potentially. I mean, he has so many big plays in that game,
Right.
and so it's kind of one thing where you bring him back to this fold as well. Like you said, defensively, you lose. What's the guy, the old coach from Missouri? Shoot. I can't believe I forgot the man's name. But anyway, I go forward with that.
You said
So Nick
coach
their old defense coordinator.
Steve
What was his name?
Steve Wilkins.
C. Wilkes, yeah, C.
Wilkes.
Wilkes.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's out. So then you got bringing in Nick Sorensen. So I think that's gonna be interesting. They lost a lot on that line. Obviously, we talked about it. As far as Armstead is gone, Chase Young is gone, Javon Kinlaw, and then also Cleveland Farrell's out as well. But like you said, as you mentioned earlier, Leonard Floyd comes into the play here.
Right.
He had 10.5 sacks last season. So you look at it from that standpoint. And can they improve from last year? Especially, and they were, even though they were good defense, but they really weren't disciplined. And that was kind of interesting in
Right.
this defense. Obviously, they pretty much gave up 443 penalty yards, which I think is third worst in NFL. So this team definitely has a legitimate shot, and then now, go back with Brock Purdy, where now he has actually had a full offseason to actually get better and develop. And that's kind of the scary thing about all this, where if he gets better, now he has a whole entire offseason. He didn't have to recover like last year when he had the injury in the NFC Championship game. He now had a full offseason to get better. So, this team will definitely be in contention. As far as rebounding, it's a potential. But yeah, I definitely see this 49ers team almost being back to kind of where they were last year. Like you said, in the last 4 to 5 years where they've been in the NFC Championship. So they'll be in this. They'll be in that picture for sure.
Right.
All right. So we'll switch our focus to the LA Rams. So obviously with this LA Rams team, you look at it, are the Rams poised for another playoff run? Obviously, when you look at this Los Angeles Rams team, pretty much was one of the hottest teams going into the playoffs last year, and then they fell short to the Detroit Lions. Are the Rams kind of poised for almost a similar run like they did in 2023?
Man. I don't know if this season, maybe they trying to build up on it since they coach decided to come back. But if you really look at it, like they really paid. The reason I think they fell short, definitely injuries. I think they just went all in when they won the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? So like I said, a lot. Then after that, a lot of injuries. Aaron Donald issues, cap issues. They lost Wagner and Robinson. But they drafted this guy Verse. I think they're a little more healthy. I think they can build for the future. But I really don't see them. And maybe you can change my mind. I don't see them to me. I just think it's going to take a couple more years. I think right now with the cap space, I think also with some drafts. Like I think they just build for the future. I think also, Matthew Stafford, his age. I know his stats have been well. Not saying he can't ball, but his time up. You know what I mean? But I just think there's a lot of question marks there. I can't sit there and put my finger on it and be like, yeah, they still can go. It's a lot of their main players are a lot older. They got some young guys there, but I just don't feel it just yet.
Um, I I still think they're still kind of a team that they can still be a double digit win team in this league.
Right.
I always look for those teams that got hot later in the season because they won 7 out of their
Okay.
last 8 games of the season. Um, and you think about
Hmm.
it, and even in that one singular loss, that was against the Baltimore Ravens in overtime.
Right.
So it's kind of one of those where we thought, this Rams team essentially was going to almost be like that Super Bowl hangover
Right.
2022 team that pretty much, I think they were like maybe like 4-12 or like 5-12, 5-12 or 4-13 type team. Um, so that's where I
Hmm.
kind of, was thinking, where they were going to be potentially. I thought they would at least get better, but they got hot, or they got hot late. Matthew Stafford,
Right.
and we call Matthew Stafford. He's still doing his thing. I think another thing about this team now, if you can get a healthy Cooper Cup along with Puka
Right.
Nakua, which will be
Hmm.
probably the best wide receiver duo in the NFL. So I think if they can stay healthy, I know that their biggest issue is probably gonna be at tight end because I know Tyler Higbee. I think he got hurt. My memory serves correct. I think he got hurt in the Detroit game. Um,
Mm.
in the wild card round. So you may not see him for quite some time. So kind of who's gonna essentially gonna be in that tight end spot for the Rams. And then I just look at even Kyron Williams. I think they finally now have that factor back. So I definitely think he there. And then you think about bringing in Blake Corum. I think that's a nice duo. Pretty much give Kyron a little bit of rest, and then you bring in a guy like a Blake Corum who can run like crazy. Like he's like the ultimate angry run type person. I know. Shout out to Cal Brandt,
Right.
but yeah, he's the angry. He has that angry run type mentality. So I look at that. Defensively, obviously you lose Aaron Donald. Obviously he retired.
Right.
So it's gonna be interesting, kind of how all this is all gonna factor out. I mean, you got Kobe Turner on one end, Bobby Brown the third. So you look at and now because he was out for a considerable amount of time in 2023 and actually 2022. So can he be, in there? Then also you talked about earlier about Jared Verse, which I think was a steal to get him at
Right.
where they had him at. So because a lot of people kind of had him almost, and I think I had him in a mock like 8th. Going to the Chicago Bears at that
Hmm.
time. So you look at him, and then also his teammate at Florida State, Brandon Fisk. Um, he's going to be somebody I think also too, because they'll both be on that line. So they will. I don't think they will have a year where they're going to have like a blazing hard start like that. I think there's going to be
Right.
some stuff. I do like the. I think one thing think it's gonna be interesting with them. They're almost similar to like we talked about the Denver Broncos last not last year, but Tuesday, where they
Couple
actually
weeks.
start
Right.
three out of their 4 games on the road. So we're really gonna see what this Ram team is kind of much made up about, when we hit the month of October. So if they can kind of survive that
Right.
stretch, then we kind of see how it goes with that. But yeah, it's not as bad as I think I envisioned. If we would sit here last year, because we knew obviously coming off that bad season in 2022, following going to the Super Bowl and falling short. Oh no, they won the
Hmm.
Super Bowl. But they won the Super Bowl. What am I talking about? But yeah, they won the Super
Right.
Bowl, and so yeah, obviously, they didn't have the quarterback carousel like they had in 2022, but I give them somewhat of a legitimate shot. I think they're gonna be all right.
I think they're gonna be all right too. I just think that to sit there and we could a lot of teams we could do that because they won a Super Bowl a couple years. They have a great quarterback. They definitely got some great weapons, and they got they got a really phenomenal coach that say, hey, he was gonna leave. They said there was questions that he may leave, but he came back. So hopefully he sees something bright in the future and the weapons that they have, he could put something together. But this is a very injury prone division to me, because if your team can necessarily stay healthy, you most likely can win the division. What I mean? and then that's just the truth.
Oh yeah, and yeah, what year was it? Either was it 2020? No. Yeah, it was 2020 because that's when I remember. That's when San Francisco had those rash injuries. I think coming off. Yeah, matter of fact, that was the year that's when they lost Kansas City.
Right.
And that was the year where literally everybody got hurt, especially like in that Jets game, and like how and how that division became kind of
right.
what it was. But yeah, I mean, yeah, and that you can say that the case for pretty much just about any team's division, as long as you think about just staying healthy and then being healthy at the right time. So it's going to be kind of interesting how all this going to play out. But I definitely think that the Rams, it's not as bad, I think, as people may envision how they were in 2022. Well, yeah, how they were in 2022. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It's crazy how now these years be escaping you because you're like, all right, what year was doing this happen?
Right.
It's like, oh yeah, 2021. Yeah. Oh yeah. But yeah,
I did that because I was like 2020. I was like, Kansas City won 2020. I thought it was the Buccaneers, and then I was like, I have to remember how they do you know what I mean? And I was like, no, that was 2021. Okay, you know what I mean? I was like, okay, I got you. You know what I mean?
Yep. I know, and now, especially now, considering the fact now we're starting to play regular season games in the month of January, and this time next year, they might be playing Netflix on the third week of January. That's because I think we're on the verge of an 18-game regular season, which I don't understand that, but it is what it is. But when that topic suffice and when it really happened, we'll definitely talk about that, and you'll hear my discussion about 18 games regular season. But that's it, there. So let's talk about the Arizona Cardinals. So obviously this is a very intriguing team to say the least. So the Arizona Cardinals, all right. So will a healthy Kyler Murray shake up the NFC West? What you got?
I'm gonna say yes. It's Kyler Murray. Like when he's healthy, you start hearing MVP rumors, or they bring him maybe win an MVP. I'm gonna say yes. He just has to stay healthy. But more and more, we start hearing about his character and arrogance and things of that nature. And hopefully, but we saw when he came back last season, they had. Let me see. Once he came back, they was a top 10. They was a top 10 in yards per game. They was 12th in the league in points and second in the league in rushing per game. So that just shows you like the dynamics of him. And then adding Marvin Harrison Jr. They're gonna score. I think they're gonna score a lot of points. I don't have too much to say about their defense. Maybe you could put that out there. But like I said, if they put something together and they dynamic, which I think they could be, especially if he stays healthy, the defense, they motivate their defense to step up. Man, they can change the whole setup of how this division is. Like, because I really believe they most likely, it's gonna take some time, but yeah, man, I think, no offense, I feel a lot of people like kind of forgot about Kyler, kind of abandoned him and sleeping on him. And I feel like he most likely got something to prove. So he got, I'm gonna say yes.
Yeah, and shout out to our guy Papa J. So even if Callie's health, Cal. I said Kylie. What am I thinking about? Definitely the teams they have is faced too much, and I agree on that sentiment as well. Definitely, you shout out to for your comment. I think with Arizona, in a weird way, even last year that the Arizona Cardinals shook up the playoff picture. I mean, when
That's
you
what I'm
sit down
saying.
and really thinking about it, where you look at when, going into last season, there really wasn't no expectation of this Cardinals team. We thought they were going to be one of the worst teams in the NFL and then we was kind of contemplating. I think even was saying Kyler Murray red shirt 2023, but he came back and he missed 9 games, and you think to yourself, he had a 3-5 record when he came back. I mean, he was a part of their wins against Pittsburgh, the Eagles, and the Falcons, and 2 of those teams were playoff teams, and the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Philadelphia Eagles. So you look at that, and then so I definitely think he's gonna, once healthy, I think he will shake it up more so than anything. And then obviously, like you talked about, Marvin Harrison Jr., this is probably their best weapon since DeAndre Hopkins. So I definitely think that. Then obviously on the other side there, you got Michael Wilson. And then of course, we got our guy from 15 South Oak Street, Greg Dortch. Springer alert in the slot. So you look at it just from that standpoint, and I think that's going to be a really explosive offense. And I definitely think, coupled with that trio of wide receivers, including Greg Dortch, I think they're going to be really explosive because now you got that guy up you got the guy that can take the top off the defense of Marvin Harrison Jr. So you look at just from that standpoint, that opens up opportunities, lanes for all those guys. And obviously you still got James Conner there, so you still get considerable carries there, kind of can move the chains and do his thing. Defensively, the Cardinals, and obviously we know their coach is Jonathan Gannon. Obviously, he was a part of that Philadelphia Eagles team as a defense coordinator that year. Matter of fact, the 2022 season, where they had that line had his defense had 70 sacks, but obviously he doesn't have that type of personnel that he had in Philly in Arizona. So you look at just from that standpoint, they're getting there. Last year they had 33 sacks on the season, which is definitely a far cry from obviously his production as defense coordinator the year prior. They're getting there. And obviously, I think I like the acquisition of getting Sean Murphy Bunting. I think he'll be a nice piece. And, obviously, you got Buda Baker there as well, and also Max Melton as well. So I think that's a nice, fairly decent secondary for the team. But I definitely think Arizona, you may not see, like, as far as, I think they'll be always a tough out. I think in Arizona, and what's going to be crazy about their schedule, they have another kind of interesting season to start the season. I think they have a 3-game homestand in weeks 2, 3, and 4. So they got 3 home games in a row. So, and including my beloved Washington Commanders, we'll play them in week 4. Those games in Arizona can be tricky. And I think, those type of games where, you can definitely could potentially get some wins out there. But even you look at what they did last year, they essentially beat 3 out of their 4 wins were against playoff teams. So it's kind of one of those where, it's, I think they'll shake it up, but I don't necessarily think it's going to be shaking up as far as like in week 8. How many weeks we got? Week 17. No, I mean, no. Hold on. Now I got to think to myself. So I don't see them essentially playing, potentially like going to the playoffs, like playing for a playoff berth, like say, the week going into December 29th, that final week in December, leading up to those final 2 weeks in January. I don't think they'll be in contention, but I definitely think they can become spoilers or cause some chaos like they did in December with Philly, because
you still never know, man. He got some weapons. We'll see when it start. So it's sketchy, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I agree. Yeah, I agree with you too, Papa J. Where he's gonna have to. He had to have that combination where the run and the pass
Right.
And it opens up, and I think that can open up like James Conner, who I think he may. How can I say it? He's not the sexiest when it comes to running backs when we think about Pauls, but like he can get the job done. He can kind of just move the chains in a sense for you. You don't expect him to have like a CMC type of explosion and kind of just, but yeah. and also too, I think Tom Brady can make a difference in Arizona. Oh man, hey.
A lot of people don't like Kyle Murray. You know what I mean? They really got a bitter taste in the mouth about him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think and Kyler, the thing is he's literally like the up, like when we talk about up and down. Like
right.
Yeah, we see like the flashes from 1 week into the other. Like even we talked about in the 8 games he played. Well, that happens. 8 games he played into this year where he played up and down and what have you. But like, can he get it consistently? And that's the thing, So that's the thing. Even the I guess games, but yeah, and that's the thing. Where can you get that consistency from him? I mean, I know, as far as because obviously I know he had some years back and forth with Cliff Kingsbury. And that really didn't come to fruition with how we thought it, because obviously we knew that was kind of Cliff Kingsbury's wish. Like that was his guy. He recruited him in high school. That was the guy that he wanted. So it's kind of, interesting of how that's going to be. But yeah, and Arizona's kind of one of those where they'll shake up some things, but I don't necessarily think you'll see on the win column. I think you will see them kind of making some headway here and there. But yeah, and shout out to our guy Wild Card Mark. So yeah, the NFC East is a tricky division. Obviously, the 49ers are going to be there. Seattle took a step back last year, where the Rams overachieved last year. The Cardinals will remain in the last spot. I can dig that. I think it's a possibility. I definitely think from them. But yeah, like we said, the Rams did definitely overachieve, as we that as well. But Arizona, they're gonna be a tough out.
I mean you can't blink. You just can't blink, dude. If you blink, next thing you know, you be like, damn, we lost to the Cardinals. I mean, my team did it last year. We were supposed to beat them, you know what I mean? But because of whatever issues we had, you can't go in there doing that, playing a team like that. They go, you know what I mean? So that's really what they are, just a team that might mess up your playoff future or something like that,
Yeah. Because I remember when we barely beat them in week 1, they were like, oh, y'all suck. But then the Cowboys lost to them. Now it's like everybody's like, oh, we told y'all, like, don't think this is the worst team of all time. Like that's what kills me about all the type of stuff. People these preseason expectations of saying, they're gonna suck. I mean, yeah, but they're still a football team. It's still like these still professional athletes. There's difference. There's levels to this, and I'm like, it's very rare that you're gonna have easy games. And and Arizona really kind of proved that, because they played hard. They played hard week in and week out. They weren't a slouch. They weren't like the people thought them as like their homecoming.
Right.
Like and how from a high school perspective, where you pick the bad team for homecoming, so you can But Arizona legit. They all right, but
right. But they have no expectation. Everybody kind of sleeping on them. You know what I mean? Everybody kind of sleep. Hopefully they have something draw up for them, and that they can be successful. Like it ain't always the players. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes, the organization, the coaches gotta have something in there. But I will say this though, like Murray done. He gonna got a little reputation also. Do you feel like he's progressed? Like, I understand he's a scrambling quarterback, right? But as being a scrambling quarterback, a short one, do you feel like, because regardless what anybody say, even if you're a scrambling quarterback, whatever, you still got to be able to do the basics when it comes to being a quarterback in the NFL. And, Lamar's getting there, but Lamar's the MVP. So he's doing something right. You know what I mean? So I'm just saying, like Patrick Mahomes, he's still able to pull the necessary throws that he needs to pull.
And now you look at it as now the Marvin Harrison Jr. equation. I definitely think where you can see, like, now, not saying the shoulders need to be on Marvin Harrison Jr., but now you have an elite playmaker, like, off the rip. So now this is a great example to kind of, to see what you can do. So like, to me, I still think if you have a grade for him, it's still incomplete. Like, you see good from him, and then you see the bad caliber. So it's kind of like trying to see it more on a consistent basis of his greatness. And he got, and sometimes, it takes time. And then I think with him, like, the constant change and as far as that's concerned. So it's kind of one of those where the thing because that's right, because he was drafted with Cliff Kingsbury. So this is second coach.
Right.
But,
so
I think this might have been
another question.
Yeah, go ahead.
I have another question for you. If you're Marvin Harrison Jr., right, and the expectations of the receiver that you're supposed to be, if Murray is not up to those standards, what should you do? Should you start speaking up because your stats aren't where they're supposed to be, or would you ask to be removed to another team?
It just depends on the success of this team. I think, and I think he's kind of have dealt that with Ohio State, where you look at, he went from C.J. Stroud to what I think that quarterback last year was like Cal McCord in Ohio State. So, I think the thing about it is, and the good thing with him, like, if he does that, it'll be smart and methodical. He'll, but I definitely think him being in Arizona, I think, will be good for him. I think.
Right. Okay.
I think in my personal opinion, I think when it just depends on how this team molds, because, like, if it's a situation where if Jonathan Gannon gets fired next year, they move a different direction, it don't go good there, or they get the new head coach 2025 and he may not make it to 2027, then you think yourself, okay, I'm on my third coach and I'm going into my fourth year. So yeah, there could be situations where he could possibly want out or what have you, but I think for now, I think he's in a good spot because he's literally he's out the box wide receiver one. You don't have to compete and even you've seen the success of other Ohio State wide receivers. You look at Gary Wilson, actually Davis Smith, and Enigma, which we'll talk about him momentarily with the Seattle Seahawks. But yeah, you see the success of Ohio State quarterbacks, past and present, and I think, and the scary thing about it is he's better than all of them. Chris Olave, all those guys, so it's so he's going to definitely get that. And definitely, let's see, shots I got, Mar, let's see, to answer Mal's question, I think Kyler Murray has a great game. It's him finishing healthy and finishing the season strong. He has to tend to start to get banged up, and quality of play drops in the second half of the season. And that's right. And I agree with Mar's point, because I think that happened because it was like in 2021, in 2020, I think it was almost similar, where he missed like the final game of the regular season or something. I forgot. It was something where he I think it's either 20.
Yeah, I remember that.
2020 or 2021, and like that was another one too, where that is concerned, but definitely that's concerned. So, and shout out to our guy season. All right, just up. Definitely appreciate you for subbing. Appreciate that for sure.
Yeah, appreciate you,
And then,
man.
all right, and then so now let's focus on the Seahawks. Definitely appreciate you. So what's good, fellas? It's hashtag Seahawks. So let's talk about the Seattle Seahawks momentarily. So all right, so let's talk them. So can the Seahawks make the playoffs? We got a simple question for the Seahawks. What you got?
I'm gonna say yes. They was 9-8 last season, but now when we look at it, they had one of the worst defenses. I always felt though with Geno they were overachieving. I started, of course, Daryl Taylor. I'm a rock with him, but I really started watching their games, and I liked Geno's energy. I liked him and Pete's the way they came at each other. Like I love that. You know what I mean? But I just feel like Pete was too old, and it was time for him to go. And having McDonald there now, coming from the Ravens, I think he's going to rejuvenate them. I feel like on for them defense to not be as good as it was, I feel like with McDonald being there, he's going because they got talent. They really do have talent. I just feel like those guys underachieved because they wasn't happy. Well, I don't know what happened. I don't know if they just weren't happy. They didn't feel like what was going on wasn't working. So I'm gonna say yes. Like I feel like we're gonna do that later on, but they were 9-8 last year. If I'm not mistaken. Let me make sure. I don't wanna be out here capping. I do have a question for you. Yeah, they were 9-8 last year. And I just feel like I'm gonna say yes. I feel like let me see. They still got Lockett, they still got DK. They got Schubert. I said the name. Okay, Walker. I think they, as long as in the offensive line, as long as they got Cross and Abram, they okay. It's not the best, but they're decent. I just feel like they a team that they better than what they showing. Like they need somebody to motivate. I think they better than what their record is saying. You know what I mean? They just gotta get somebody to push them. Got to be more professional. I think that was another thing. I think they were very undisciplined. Definitely my homeboy running into the on the field when he wasn't supposed to be, playing. I think a couple of things happened with him that came off undisciplined, but that can happen. So one or two things can happen. I just think that they got a new coach and they about to start up. This is the new Seahawks. You know what I mean? I think he's gonna be able to motivate them to the right direction. I think they're gonna make the playoffs.
Yeah. I'll answer that question first, but I definitely want to get Saj's comment here. He said, yes, we will, but I'm still concerned with the quarterback situation. And this is something that's really
that's why I brung that up.
This is something that's really near and dear to me. Obviously, we talked about Geno Smith.
Yeah.
I do like, Geno Smith, like when it comes to him, I think he's like the ultimate. Well, we talk about like a game manager. I think you look at it, he has a 9-1 touchdown to interception ratio in the fourth quarter this year. Then you bring in your backup quarterback, my nephew, Sam Howell from the University of North Carolina, former Washington Commander.
Right.
Oh gosh.
Right.
Nephew. But anyway, let me stop. And then also you bring it, and then you also yeah, it still stings. And you also bring in PJ Walker. So this is kind of where it's going to be really interesting of this team. And Mike McDonald takes over this team. Obviously now he's the youngest head coach in the NFL currently. And then also he has a young staff. You have Ryan Grubb as offensive coordinator and Aiden Dirty Hayden as the defensive coordinator. I messed that one, screwed up. But what really concerns me, and this goes to the Saj's point, where because Geno Smith said Ryan Grubb's offense is being quote unquote pretty complex. It's kind of interesting. That's the interesting word choice, especially coming in, coming into the season. They're saying that your offense coordinator has a pretty complex system. And I know there's been some rumors about Sam Howell being, as far as being, what they say, terribly inaccurate in his throws. But I think that's a lot. Obviously, that's going through a lot of commanders' chat rooms, and of course, people are trying to use that. But as far as that's concerned, but yeah, you definitely want to see what's on this roster as far as from the quarterback perspective, because I think and that's one thing and it's weird, like how we've been kind of talking about the quarterback situation for like almost 3 years now, where it's kind of like, because at one time, once upon a time, Drew Lock was there, and we was like, okay, well, maybe Drew Lock is gonna be there. Then Gino kind of came back and kind of resurrected his career, and then you kind of seeing it, kind of the ebbs and flows of it. But yeah, this is another tough team as well in this division, where you just look at and I definitely like the move of getting Mike McDonald. It's almost like they really went for a youth movement, and it's funny, they literally they had one of the oldest coaches but had a youthful energy about him. Then replace him now with a guy Mike McDonald. And I'm very, very high on Mike McDonald. I think he's going to be a hell of a coach in this league. I honestly, selfishly, I wanted him to come to Washington, but there's some stories about some situations with him and his involvement with the organization. But I'm definitely glad that he did go to Seattle. So
that's snitching.
I mean, hey.
So, so look, so is Pete Carroll still gonna be the advisor?
You know what? I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know. That's odd. It's hurt. The injury, and Howell is off on his reads and throwing. Yeah, headlines say that PJ doesn't even stand a chance, which. Yeah, and that's one thing too, where you really want to find out all of it, from this as well. And I'll revisit this momentarily. Definitely, Papa J. All right, so yes, all right. Okay, so you can find us on our YouTube page, pretty much Couch Coach Live. So you can social media, all that, Facebook, Instagram, Couch Coach Live, the website couchcoachlive.com. So pretty much you can just do a Google search. Couch Coach Live, you'll catch us, there. Also on Twitter as well, or X, as Elon Musk affectionately call it, X on the Couch Coach Live. So so that's where you can find us. Definitely appreciate you, Papa J, for that.
Thank you.
And let's see.
What's up, Papa J?
I did not see that kickoff, but I definitely really want to. I can't wait to see that on the replay. But yeah, I did not see that. So. Definitely that's concerned. So yeah, to the north. So but yeah, and that's one thing too, where yeah, and I think this will be kind of the final year for Seattle. I think if I think they we kind of realized it's kind of took him as far as they could potentially be. So I definitely and now, especially in this quarterback climate in this world, you want to, especially now. I mean, if I'm gonna have to cough up $250 million for a guy, I need him to take me, take me further than the first round or out the wild card.
Right. So. It's interesting, man. So, do you think they should have drafted a quarterback?
At where they were, I don't think they would have been able to get a quarterback. I mean, unless they would have traded up. But then when you think about a team of that type of nature, what would have been would have been the asking price? Because I think what the Bears were looking at, like multiple first round picks. I know, I don't know, I don't know what was the market for us as far as, but it was going to take a lot. So I mean, yeah, you could have got maybe somebody like a Bo Nix at 12, because I think the scary thing about all of it, because everybody got snatched up so quick. So you think about it, because you had was there like 5 or 6 quarterbacks that got drafted in the top 12? I think it was like 6 of them, because guys who in theory had like Michael Penix. I think a lot of people thought he was going to almost have like a quote unquote like a Lamar Jackson type of fall, like as far as from the draft board, but. Who would have thought that the Atlanta Falcons who just shelled out all that money for Kirk Cousins,
Right.
them getting their quarterback. I think that's where kind of people got scared. So it's like, I think in theory, if you didn't see all this action happen in the beginning, I think they would have kind of took a chance on it. But I still think them getting the Byron Murphy and where they got him, Byron Murphy the second, which we'll talk about him momentarily. But because at that point, it's you struck out, and then and especially, right. I think once that 8th pick hit, then you think to yourself, okay, who's like the last guy standing? Bo Nix. If you had to trade up with Denver or whoever was higher at that point, that you would have been sacrificed essentially your capital for 2025 and maybe and some assets. So it's.
So do you feel like they're basically saying like the old Ravens used to be, if we can get our defense right, we might at least get a wild card or might even win the division, and then our offense just follow the defense. You think that's might be something they're thinking about based upon who they drafted? I know we about to move forward. I feel like they want to put a lot of emphasis on the defense. That's what I feel.
But I think even with that, when it comes to that type of situation, those days you really can't do that anymore. Since you can in theory, but you look at you're not going to beat a Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs with a Trent Dilfer type of quarterback that's just going to make, you're not going to those days, especially now when such offensive centric. And then you even look at even in that division, yeah. And so the thing about that is when you really sit down and you think about it, and that's how kind of I think we went that way because we kind of like I kind of, and it's funny now, as we're talking almost like kind of how the Bears, if you think about the last time they were kind of successful when they had Mitch Trubisky at their quarterback.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What helped that team was they got a lot of turnovers. They got a lot of turnovers that year, so their turnover margin was really good. So they was able to kind of get some points off their defense. But it's kind of one of those where now you can get that kind of game edge, but how far is it going to take you? And that's the thing where when you see a guy like a Patrick Mahomes, even this Super Bowl too, where you look at like a guy like a Brock Purdy who, he had to make some throws. He had to do his thing, and and that's concerned. So you can, but and I think the thing even with the Brock Purdy situation, that's a dime a dozen. Like last time
So I mean, you coach. That's why I'm asking you. So like, let's say you got Geno is injured, but he managed to get game well. How's having problems with reads, right? So let's say your defense is great in turnovers. They rush well. They are top 5 defense, right? Mm-hmm. And they keep games close. Shouldn't a professional quarterback, even how should be able to have a package or a certain amount of plays that he should be able to knock off to at least get a field goal, or at least he know for a fact these plays are going to work. Shouldn't he have that? Or rather than putting everything to a quarterback and say, I want you to manage the game?
They should. I think it just depends on, and that's why I think coaching is such like people don't really think about the value of coaching, because you do have some offensive coordinators that will help you with your strengths more so than trying to fix your weaknesses. So I think in a case like that where, because I'm really not sure with Grubb as far as how he is as far as his coaching style wise. But yeah, I mean, in theory, that's what coaching you're supposed to be really supposed to kind of bring that type. But you always have, in coaching, even with that, it sounds great in theory, but most coaches, they got egos. They want to do it their way, and this and third. So it just depends on And that's why you look at the success of all these younger coaches. You look at we talked about
Right.
Cal Shanahan,
Right.
Sean McVay, those type of
Right.
kind of newer guys. It's kind of like innovative Mike McDaniels, which we'll talk about Dolphins in
Right.
a few weeks. Like those type of young guys, like in that sense, where but yeah, in theory, I agree. It should be a situation where they should develop a package to heighten this person's
Right.
strengths. So but sometimes it just it don't work out for real.
Right. If
But,
Gino and Howe had a bigger name, just like what I mean, that would be they would be like they wouldn't say things like, yeah, the offense is a little, you know what I mean? They would be like, yeah, we're working together to, you know what I'm saying? You're gonna respect him some type of way. But anyway, appreciate you, Coach, asking the question.
Yeah, and that's one thing where yeah, and we will definitely touch that as well. But definitely appreciate you, Papa J, for the comment on that one. And
Right.
He did. Bo Nix is the next Brock Purdy, and that's a
Could be.
possibility. I mean,
Could be.
And
practice is one thing, in game is different.
Yeah, I mean, because Bo Nix, you know what I'm saying? Like we talked about him on Tuesday's show. Bo Nix up there. I mean, he's a Brandon Whedon in the Chris Winkie of the 2020s. So
Yeah. He actually, you're right, Coach. He has to. He has to be.
Yeah, he got to. Right.
Right.
And then huge shout out to Sajin for the scoring update at the Hall of Fame game. Got the Texans got a 10-7 lead over the Chicago Bears, the monster of the Midway. On Hollis High on that as well. So yeah, man. So definitely we are back at it. What an exciting night that we got NFL preseason. So yeah, we got some great action. Yeah, even though no Caleb or no CJ Stroud tonight, but hey, we here.
Hey, this is how he acts every year. Couch Coach is doing a preview, like, man, we back. NFL's here.
Man.
Let's go.
Yeah, man.
It was good.
Yeah, man, and definitely, yep. So yeah, so we are here, live here, and of course, obviously, we look about the historical standpoint of this. So obviously, Texans 10, the Bears 7 on 2121 George Hallis Drive in the good old Canton, Ohio. What a beautiful sight.
Right.
Yeah, we're here. So, it definitely got a huge shout out to let's see, Ramilla Sports Report. Rams run the West. So definitely huge shout out to the Ramilla
chronic
out here. So yeah. So
hold up.
Let's see. So let's talk about some players. And also I forgot also for the Seahawks before we get going. I definitely another Springer alert. Definitely huge shout out to Kevon Wallace doing his thing there at Seattle. So definitely huge shout out to Kevon Wallace. Another Springer in the building. So we always got to shout out our Springers on our NFL previews as we done since those young guys been in the league. So this one, so all right, so name either a vet or a rookie that's as far as an emerging player to watch in this division.
I know we went back and forth. I got two, and I think they are important. I got Jared Verse. I think he's going to be. From Florida State, 14 tackles, 9 sacks. Speed, power, 6'4", 255 pounds, natural body, edge rusher. I think he's going to be a problem. And I got Byron Murphy, the second, for University of Texas. He's with the Seahawks. He was B12. He was defensive lineman of the year. 8.5 tackles, 5 sacks. He played all 14 games last season, but I think the biggest thing is his interior defense and being able to run after the quarterback. And I think that's going to be one of the big things for their defense that's going to help them out. So yeah, those are the two rookies.
Sure. Bass, I think, to me, is a no-brainer. For my personal opinion, it's got to be Marvin Harrison Jr.
I knew he was going to go there.
I think he was going to make it. He's going to make an immediate impact. I think he's going to be one. If we were to get a we're not going to get a non-offensive rookie of the year, because I think we already know who could be the offensive rookie of the year. We'll talk about that a few weeks down the road. But if it isn't a non-quarterback that will get this award, it probably would be him. But so I definitely think that he will definitely fit that bill. Like I said earlier, he is essentially their best weapon since DeAndre Hopkins. So I definitely think he will definitely be someone in this division to watch. And then also shift the focus to Devin Witherspoon. He's the other one where I think now going into his second year, I think he's going to be someone, especially in this defense for the Seattle Seahawks. I definitely think he's going to make a great impact for the Seattle Seahawks team going forward. So those are kind of the two guys I definitely think that will be guys that you can watch in this division. And I definitely think when I look at them, those two guys, I definitely think those two guys will make an impact for their teams going forward. So and this division is very, always, to me, this is intriguing, because I think we always, when we look at the divisions from, I know, like we discussed it, AFC West not last week, but on Tuesday, essentially we looked at kind of like it's somewhat top heavy. Like there's a little bit of suspense here or there, but now shifting focus now to the AFC West, where you look at this, you literally can make a legitimate case. I think even as you check this out today, we literally can make a case with just about all 4 of these teams could potentially, are almost like playoff caliber team versus there's somewhat of a drop off in other divisions. Like I think when we look at we did the AFC West, we pretty much kind of eliminate like Denver out of the contention up just for that. But this division is definitely going to be one of those where it's going to be intriguing, and it's literally going to be a race to the finish in this division. And I think we got, let's see, I know we had a few predictions. Let's see. Yep. So Papa J said that the 49ers are going to ramp up stats in the division this year. So yeah, it's a possibility. Yeah, if they stay healthy, and I think this could be somewhat like a revenge tour. And I think now they could be a little bit hungrier, because obviously you falling this short, yet again. So this could be somewhere you can have literally a San Francisco 49ers revenge tour potentially. And obviously it'll start week 1 against the Jets on Monday Night Football, which is definitely going to be interesting. That'd be a fun game to watch.
Right.
So,
yeah.
All right.
Think it's going. You ready, huh?
Pretty much. So we'll do our record predictions for the NFC West. You checking this out now here live on either you're checking this out live on our YouTube page, Couch Coach Live, our Facebook page, Couch Coach Live, or our Instagram on the Couch Coach Live. Drop your record prediction as well too. Follow along with us as well. So Mal, get your record predictions for this division, and you can start from 1 to 4 or 4 to 1, however you want to do it.
Okay, I'm gonna go 1 through 4. Excuse me. I got the 49ers 11-6. I got the Seahawks 10-7. I got the Rams 8-8, and I got the Cardinals 7-10.
You said the Rams
8-9.
8-9. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So
and the Cardinals 7-10.
Cardinals
Cardinals 7-10.
7-10. Yeah, you had 7-10. Yeah. Okay. All right.
Okay.
All right. So I got the 49ers 12-5. I got the LA Rams 10-7. I have the Arizona Cardinals at 8-9, and my bad, Season. I got the Seattle Seahawks at 7-10.
Damn, that's crazy.
It's I definitely think Seattle. Seattle's definitely, and and with injuries, maybe it'll work out for them. But if everything how it is currently constructed, that's how it's gonna go, unfortunately.
I'm going to say this. If the 49ers don't pay the people they supposed to, it's going to be a lot of those key people or key players injured because they know they ain't getting paid. Watch. I don't understand why they dragging their feet. Just pay these people they supposed to. Get it over with.
So then for sure. So Sajin, the 49ers at 12-5, the Rams at 11-6, Seahawks 10-7, the Arizona Cardinals 8-9.
8-9,
yeah. I think the Cardinals. That I think I got the 8-9 as well too. It's kind of one of those where now with Kyler Murray in the fold, it's definitely gonna he'll play some games and he'll win some games for him. But like I said, I think down the stretch, it might falter. But yeah. Yes, indeed. So we'll wrap up the AFC West preview. What's your final thoughts on this division?
I was being nice by putting the 49. I don't know. I think it's some slippage about to happen. Based upon them. But hey, man, this has always been a physical division, and hey, as long as the players stay healthy, you know what I mean? It could be exactly how we think it should be, That's really the main thing. It's really health.
Yeah, and also to Papa Jay's point, and this is something where I wanted to bring up because kind of one of the things where there is, obviously the Trent Williams holdout. So that's really key, so that's something that we've been kind of keeping on the radar, but that's kind of like you're hoping that in theory that they'll resolve that. But yeah, that's another huge thing, key factor. And obviously you look at even when he was out of the lineup, especially in that Minnesota game where they lost on Monday Night Football to Minnesota Vikings, and even he's definitely. And I think, and I've been talking about that, the Trent Williams angle, but because if it ain't for him, you see, how as far as CMC, how he does his thing, how Brock Purdy, he affects that, and like Minnesota just bludgeoned him in that Monday Night Football game. And you just look at it just from that standpoint of, he's their anchor. He definitely has to be there. And with him, there's always where he's out the lineup for some chunks of time, due to injury and stuff. But like, to me, hey, in a weird way, the holdout might be somewhat in his favor, because you want Trent Williams to be there December, January, and if you're lucky enough to play in February, at this point, you need him down that stretch. So he's huge. I think that's one thing too. I think a lot of people aren't really paying attention to that holdout too. That's kind of one of the elephant in the rooms kind of situation, but no rather really addressing it. But yeah, for sure, definitely. That's a good point, Papa J.
I got something to say. You don't think the defenses, after seeing that Super Bowl and how, Brock Purdy looked a little shaken up with the pressure that was coming at him, you don't think they're going to use that and that might hurt them?
Well, he just got to adjust. When you think about it,
right.
Pretty much every quarterback that's the thing about it, where he just, everybody's always going to succumb to the pressure of it, because you think about like Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes, when they put that blitz on him against, and when Tampa Bay put that blitz on him, shout out guy Todd Bowles, He used to be number 23 for the Washington Redskins, that Super Bowl team, but I leave that alone.
Stupid.
That Todd Bowles. But yeah, I think it, and that's one thing too, where pressure's gonna, it's gonna hurt the pressure's always gonna, it's all about handling that pressure, because when you see guys, that's because pretty much when you sit down and you really think about, as and as his years progress, and as far as what we've been doing as far as covering Washington Commanders football for the last 3 years, we've always said like the pressure, make sure that whoever was our quarterback, Peter, Paul, and Mary,
right.
The biggest thing is eluding pressure, because we know, especially in that type of situation. But I mean, it's just one thing where and they will have to make the appropriate adjustments as the season progresses. And like I said, and that was one thing I know we talked about live in our Super Bowl preview, where we knew, like, as far as like Chris Jones, Karlaftis, those guys, it was literally like beat me at the quarterback. We knew, kind of in theory, that was kind of, we was looking at that as kind of key for Kansas City to win that football game, was to get to a guy like Brock Purdy, because a lot of it, because once you get to him, it's a wrap. So
right. So if they lose the first 3-4 games, I'm saying it's because I really believe they like, we gonna squeeze this juice out this apple as long as we can, but this is not who we really want. I don't know. I just feel like they feel that, because I feel like they would have went on ahead and gave him that extension. This is probably the cheapest he could be, right?
What, Brock? Or
yes.
I mean, because the quarterback market is always gonna soar. So I mean, you get them while you can, like, and that's why that was my argument about Tua. Like, I understand, like, he really has to produce, but that's just the market value of it. So and I agree with you, Papa Shady. Yeah, because if they didn't have Trent, because Trent is their anchor. Like, Trent is their anchor. Like, we talked about it.
Right.
That team looks different, like remarkably different, without a Trent Williams, and it's like no question, like they
need to play. They need to pay their players, man, that's been there. Like, why are you still playing with them? Like, just a few years ago, after Debo, when they went to the Super Bowl last time, they played with him. But then, no disrespect, I like McCaffrey, but to me, when he was with Carolina, they paid him early. We, if you don't, we go watch the archives. Me, you, and JB talked about it, and they just did it again. And I'm not saying he ain't a beast, but I'm like, man, pay everybody to get us here. Brock Purdy got y'all there, and Jimmy G is gone. Pay him. You know what I mean? Pay Debo. You know what I'm saying? I get it. He hurt all the time, but Debo is a threat. He is a scary threat. Pay Trent. I don't now they receiver. That's what's it says that, how you say his last name?
Ayuk. Brandon Ayuk.
He's a horrible route runner. That's what they were saying. They were saying his route running wasn't the best. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. So they may not want him. You know what I'm saying? But if that's the case, then do what you need to do, and don't be going and y'all trying to win the Super Bowl and y'all the 49ers. Why don't you act like it? Stop acting like you ain't got no money. You know what I mean? The Eagles aren't doing that. The Eagles, you know what I mean? They paid their bread and they got there. You know what I mean? They had injuries and people left. And then now they went back and they spent their money and they got people on their squad. And I'm telling you, we ain't said nothing about, because we ain't there yet. They going to mess around and be the team that be in the Super Bowl again, because they doing what they supposed to do with their players. You have to, if you're not going to pay them, you need to get rid of them and get what you need. You know what I mean? I'm sorry. I just wanted to put that out there.
Like I said with San Francisco, I think that I see the plan with them getting that getting Ricky Pearsall, that wide receiver out of the draft. I think he's next. Yeah.
Right, he is.
Yeah. So and like, but that's always gonna happen, especially in this salary cap type of age where somebody's gonna get sacrificed. I mean, I there's so many examples of kind of where guys.
Right.
It's just sacrifice, unfortunately. So Sajid had a question. What team do you rock with? Tell them who you rock with, Maui. What you got?
I'm a Steeler.
Who you represent.
I'm a Steeler.
I mean, hey, he got your boy Sergeant, so he got your boy Russ. So
And Daryl, number 52 from the Seahawks, Daryl Taylor is my brother's best friend.
yeah.
So I'm cool with the Seahawks. I'm cool with the Seahawks.
And that's true, yeah. And yeah, that's gonna definitely how it all plays out. And that's one thing too, where you look at, that's what happens. And that's the thing that sucks kind of about being good in a sense where somebody gets sacrificed. And that's the thing where now it's that delicate part of all of it and kind of managing it.
Right.
And then,
Sinjin, what I'm saying is 49ers made it to the Super Bowl twice, but they keep playing with their players and not paying them when they're supposed to. It shouldn't be no rumors about you're not paying this person. You said Trent. Y'all saying the team don't look right without him, then you should pay him. Like, stop letting them go in there because, athletes are very emotional. That's the one thing they want to do to make sure they money right. So when you're dealing with contract and you talking about football, man, they might, not being focused, so worried about that, then somebody might get hurt, pull something pulled. You know what I mean? So I'm like, man, just if you're not gonna pay him, do something with him.
I mean, hey, come on home, Trent. I mean, hey, come home.
You know what I'm saying? Like think about it. I got one more year to pay with you, and you're not going to give me. You might not. I'll give you an example. Let's talk about C. Jones last year. That was for
Chris Jones. Yeah, Chris Jones.
Chris Jones, right? You know what I mean? And we all was like, "What? What you mean they not going to pay him? They lost that first game. What they do? They sign him by the end of the week after they lost that first game.
The very next day, I think that Friday.
Word. That's all I'm saying. Like, if what's sending me to a team? Like, if you don't, then trade me. Like, you know what I'm saying, or whatever you go do, get something, and then hopefully that team assign me. That's all I'm saying. You know what I mean? Wouldn't it be hard for you to keep playing that 1 year when that's a contract year?
You mess around, you don't want.
What'd you say?
I mean, hey, Adam, do your thing. I know you. But hey, Trent, come on home. I mean, Daniel's not there no more. I know you're good. I know you got a good relationship with Adam Peters. Come on home. Have you back?
We got coach recruiting.
You back at the left tackle spot. Then have Sam Cosmi at the right tackle spot. Oh yeah, trust me. I can run through those holes. I could give you CMC type numbers. Even at 40. Thank you. Put Sam Cosmi on the right side and put him on the left. Yeah. Trust me. We be good. But in all seriousness, and I think they will. I think it's just kind of one of the things. It's almost like kind of like all this type of stuff. Like with Lamar's situation, last year. They were gonna bound and pay him. I think I don't know. It's kind of, to me, I always think they wait till. It'll get done. I think it's just.
Yeah, I'm sure.
But because they'll be a fool not to trade, not to send him, not to sign him, and they will. Teams just do that, like, because everybody kept on was like, oh well, Lamar's gonna go to Atlanta. I'm like, dude, that man was not going nowhere near Atlanta. Like that was just a smoking mirror.
I thought that was a lot of disrespect. And then Hurst, it took him no time to sign his deal. It was crazy.
All right, so Steelers, Russ, or your second choice at quarterback?
I would go ahead and start with Russ, and but I don't think he's the future. I think Fields is. I think, hey man, let me tell you something. Like, I just want to get in there, play, and win a Super Bowl. You know what I mean? I'm not even, whoever's gonna be there, just do what you need to do. You know what I mean? Like, Steelers is weird. Like, we lucked up with Ben Roethlisberger, but man, go out there and just do it, play like you're supposed to. Don't be no prima donna and just play football, man. You know what I mean? Like, I think TJ Watt deserves to be in the AFC Championship. He deserves a Super Bowl. Play hard for that. Be motivated for that. You know what I mean? he gets hurt so much, I'll be worried that something gonna happen. You know what I mean? So I just go out there and play still football and do what you're supposed to do. Man, I found out that actually my mother got invited this weekend coming up to go to some people she met in Clemson, right? It's a baby shower. Why the I think the grandmother is the lawyer for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Boy, I about fell out the chair. I was like, oh yeah, me and Couch Coach Live need some tickets. you think I'm playing? I was like,
right.
But as of right now, I'm gonna trust Tomlin. I think finally he done got rid of anything connected to Ben Roethlisberger is out of the team. You know what I'm saying? And now he can just do him. He got blessed with 2 quarterbacks, and you know what I mean? Like, just make the best. He ain't even had to spend no money.
Right. But so if this definitely happened, no offense, but the Steelers 49ers go to 3 Super Bowls and lose, you are done. Like, yeah. If this happens again this time next year, it's if you have literally failed 3 times as a head coach and failed as an offensive coordinator, this whole marriage between Shanahan and John Lynch will literally be over.
And they deserve it. Play your players.
Yeah. If that happens, if that happens again, especially in that type of fashion, where if there's another, like if there's some type of stupid error that happens, obviously we think about the situation in this predicament, well, against the Chiefs the first go round, not running the ball when you had a sizable lead. And we, obviously we won't go back to the 28-3 fiasco. But that's another one. Then this year where you didn't know the overtime rules, and thank God they didn't score, because they would have thought they would have won the Super Bowl. How embarrassing that would have been if they would have scored.
I forgot about
and
that.
And they would have thought they won. And I thought to myself, I woke up the next morning like, I'm so glad they didn't score, because they literally would have cut a penalty on that play, like essentially on the next play, because they would run on the field and like, because they didn't even know the overtime rules, and of course they say they knew it, but they didn't, because even in theory, they wouldn't have done what they did, knowing that,
wasn't that their team? Wasn't that the NFC Championship or the divisional round? I can't remember, where they really didn't have no quarterback. Everybody got hurt.
Oh, that was the preview. That was the NFC Championship against Philly, and that's the game that they should have won. And they should have won that game. But like I said, that's why I be trying to tell these sour Eagle fans, you literally beat a quarterbackless team. So it's like, this is not nothing to like kind of hang your head on. Like, yeah, this is an anomaly. This is only gonna happen one time.
But it's just the 49ers. I think the karma they've had for a while, man. Like, man, for a while they've had this. They got to play their players, man. Stop playing. You can go all the way back to when they played the Ravens. Like, they gotta pay their players, man.
Yeah, man. It's only fitting that we have an NFC West preview and we got a guy named Jim Everett the Great. Definitely a Rams great in itself. Shout the door with Jim Everett, and and shout out to him, and also what's the dude name? Oh gosh, I can't believe I forgot this guy name. I can't believe I didn't forget. Damn. Oh, Jim Rome. Yeah, Jim Rome. Shout out to Jim Rome, so shout out to Jim Rome. Call my man Jim Everett the Great, Chris Everett. And is about to beat the hell out of him. Knock it off. yeah, man. But yeah, so if definitely Google Jim Rome versus Jim Everett. Like, if you want a good laugh, thank me later. Because that was hilarious. Yeah. So, but yeah, so we'll round out tonight's preview, social media, and anything else you got going on.
Yeah, shout out Tony the Savant. He sent me something. He did a real good job. Let's put a like on this YouTube channel. But Sean Morgan, Facebook, DT Morgan 78. Tomorrow is I want to say a good day, but a bad day. And that's because, damn, man, tomorrow will probably be the last time we see Skip Bayless on Undisputed. Tomorrow's the last day. And the weird thing about it is I want to cheer, but I also want to throw a middle finger up because he always got something to say. But at the same time, even me cheering, it's not negative because I'm not going to be a hater. You know what I'm saying? It'd be like he ain't influenced a lot of people. He ain't give open doors for a lot of people. But damn, that's crazy. And the other crazy thing is they not even really promoting it that it's gonna happen. I would have thought he would have got some type of tribute. But hey, it is what it is.
His contract over there. They like just like what they did with Shannon Sharpe.
Shannon Sharpe got a tribute. Yeah. I just want you to know, Skip. I just want you to know, Skip. I gave you my all. It's like to the paper tar lady in the bathroom. You always was there for me. But yeah, man. Shout out Skip. I ain't even go front.
Shout out to Skip. And like two of his phrases. It's my turn. Or put your glasses back on.
Yo, I ain't gonna front though. That little Wayne verse is hot. That little Wayne verse intro is kind of hard. I ain't even gonna front. I was like, I heard it. I said, damn, okay, Weezy tried to spit. They paid him well.
Yeah, man. But yeah, a huge shout out to Skip Bayless, man. Yeah. But Skip Bayless, put your glasses back on now. So it's time to put your glasses
Good
back
night,
on.
Sweetheart. Well, it's time to go.
Yeah, that was quick because I know they were saying late summer, but I guess in theory this is kind of late summer because it's about to be fall. I don't think about it, and yeah, might as well get them out of the way before football season for real.
Shout out to Marcellus Wiley because the reason I found out he was like good riddance. Right.
But definitely you shout out to Skip Bayless, man. Like you said, when the time comes, we'll definitely show him some love. But yeah, man. So pretty much once again another great show. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Couch Coach Live, the website, couchcoachlive.com. So we are 2/8 done with our NFL previews. So we got a great slate for you next week, starting on Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll be talking the AFC North. We'll be talking about Maui's Pittsburgh Steelers. We'll talk about the Cincinnati Bengals, the Cleveland Browns, and of course from the Avenue, the Baltimore Ravens. And then,
from where?
Baltimore.
On the Avenue.
On the Avenue for two. On Tuesday.
Right.
Tuesday. And then on Thursday, we'll talk about we from tonight we'll do our NFC North preview. So we'll be talking about the Chicago Bears, the monster of the Midway, the Green Bay Packers, the knee biters of Detroit, the Detroit Lions, and the Kirk Cousins-less Minnesota Vikings, the JJ McCarthy era potentially in Minnesota. So definitely looking forward to our next installment of our NFL previews. And like we said, once again, we are back here. And yeah, man. I'm going to catch you guys on the next episode. And we're out.
You're welcome.